2. Oh, hey, we're recording! Hooray! Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Oh shit! What do we call ourselves?
Pokemon Olympia League podcast.
Yeah. There we go. Welcome to episode 1 of the Pokemon Olympia League's podcast, where we're going to start talking about all the new Pokemon stuff that's coming out. So I've got
good, because I haven't a clue.
Yes. So it's Kaz here, the owner and proprietor, or I don't know, what title do you want to give yourself for Min-Max?
Guy that opens the door.
The guy that opens the door. Kaz is here.
Sexual conquistador.
Yeah, and I pay the rent. And that's my responsibilities.
Nice. Yeah. And with us as always is our Pokemon master Ewan, who I like because he doubles the views on my Pokemon on my podcasts.
Oh,
yeah, they've doubled having you on them. That between you and Shelf shouting abuse at people in the FGC, it like doubled my numbers. It's brilliant.
I'll share this to all my political guys as well. They'll think it's a total political podcast or something like that.
They will, and they'll be like, "Wait a minute, no, it's not." And say, "Yes, it's about something more important."
There are no politics in here. Everything's fine. We don't even have a problem with fucking Dark Void Smeargle. That's perfectly okay because it's allowed.
Well, it's legal, but still not good.
So yeah, because it's our first podcast, we don't have too much to cover, but I've got a couple bits of feedback or questions from some of the guys that we play Pokemon with regularly, and we're just going to try and get a bit more information out about Sun and Moon, ideally from like a battling slant, but also just to get the guys' takes on what they're looking forward to in the game, and also just to give Kaz a catch up so he knows what's going to kick his ass in the next couple of months.
Yeah,
pretty much.
We didn't introduce Josh or Craig or Reese properly, but then why would you want to bother anyway? They're here on chairs with
these
wheels.
reprobates are here.
My name's not Sir Craig, it's Sir Stealthrock.
Sir Stealthrock, because he thinks it can stack. Which, if you play the games in any capacity, you should know that Stealthrock doesn't stack. But Craig hasn't learned it.
I'll tell you what, though, when he doesn't know, he actually does pretty well.
Yeah, I know. He did all right at our
that competition I didn't even play.
Our round robin. Well, you weren't there, Josh, which is good because you would have lost anyway. Because I was
That's
playing.
True.
So, yeah, with that round robin tournament, Craig did quite well.
Aye.
So fair play to him.
But yeah, so has anybody got any? Well, first of all, we'll start with like the basics on Sun and Moon. It's a 7th gen game, which obviously you all know because it's play Pokemon.
How many new Pokemon are being added to the game? Well,
thanks to a recent data mining leak from the demo, we know that 83 new Pokemon are going into the game.
Is this not including the re-versions of them? Like
the Alola forms.
The Alola forms.
Yeah.
No, in fact, no, sorry, there are just more Alola decks, like Gen 7 Pokemon. The Alola forms don't count to that because they're still part of the existing deck. Mm-hmm. So that's more than Sun and Moon brought in, which was the X and Y brought in, which was 72.
72, I think.
But they brought in a bunch of the Megas as well, which I was thought would count, but that didn't. So there's more Pokemon coming in this gen than in the previous gen, and a lot of them have got a real thing I've noticed is a lot of the thing around changes mid battle. So a lot of the new Pokemon have got form changes. There's the new Star one Minior, which is like a rock form for like halfway through, and then when it goes down enough health, it drops the rock form, and then it becomes like a psychic type form as well.
I don't know if
we don't know the
changes,
types on them all
but
yet,
as far as we can tell, it's starting off incredibly defensive, and then as soon as it hits a point, I don't know if it's like 50% of its health.
Yeah, 50
then
seems to be
suddenly it drops the ability shields down, activates, and suddenly it switches from being defensive to offensive, which is CJ's
like
mimicking belly drum ever so slightly. Not entirely sure how
it's
it'll work,
more
because if you
closer to an Aegislash form switch,
or
you don't get to say
Darmanitan
it.
Zen mode.
Yeah.
However, if you were to rest with Zen mode with Darmanitan, you'll stay in Zen mode. So I don't know if Minior was to rest or to get any health back.
Design changes, so I can't see it reforming.
So if it doesn't reform and it keeps it might end up being a fully offensive Pokemon that's now at full health. Mm-hmm. So that could work.
And then there's the new that new water type one, little fish one that transforms into a shoal when it's half health.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah, that goes into like a shoal form and then turns into like a giant like fucking killer whale.
Such an original
which is it's kind of supposed to be stronger than Gyarados. I don't know, they've hinted that
it's tough. It's going to be like, it means you're getting this. I'm getting this vibe now that they really want to kind of mix games up, so you're not kind of dealing with the same Pokemon for the whole of his life bar.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to think like, well, it's going to be doing X and Y for the first half, and then if I get like one, like for example, if you put like a Focus Sash on that rock thing, and then it gets straight up, you go straight into your attack form off of that. So you could do a buff of some kind, knowing you'll survive, but then you're going to get an automatic boost into attacking someone else.
And then they've made an emphasis on doubles abilities as well, and not so much that, the moves as well. Like, I still think Passimian's probably the best name ever.
Yes,
But, it's pretty
new
much a
fighting
rugby
type one as
monkey
well.
that when it goes down, when your partner in a double battle goes down, you'll receive their ability, which could be absolutely brilliant for so many different ways. It means giving up a Pokemon though, which I always thought I would use Mega Glalie to blow things up, which is just brilliant. But I would be taking out two things. Using Receiver, the thing going down isn't going to, even if it's a really good ability, it's like Prankster or something. It's going to put Passimian in a position where now you've got 3 on the team, or maybe even 1. So I don't know how worth it Receiver is. Although Oranguru with the move Instruct, repeating the last move that you've used. See if you had a Blastoise with the Water Spout.
How the this new
Instruct would have it happen twice.
So you call it Orang one again?
Oranguru.
Oranguru. It's a move called Instruct, and it basically, instead of you doing a move, you tell your partner to use the move it used last. Again. And so, I mean, that's all sorts of broken for all
if you think about it, if someone had a Blastoise, the Trick Room's already been set up, probably by Oranguru, right? Blastoise hits. Robert's got a phone call.
Yep, phone call.
Oranguru hits. It doesn't so much. Oranguru's there on the battlefield, sets up Trick Room, which it'll probably learn it's a normal psychic type orangutan thing. And then, say you've got like Gyarados or something, uses Waterfall, or even something like, not Gyarados, sorry, Blastoise uses Water Spout. I don't know why I said Waterfall, that's just what I was thinking, from seeing it on the little, whatever that thing's called. What is it called? The clips that come on, they've got names, surely. Anyway, trailers, that's their name, trailers. Them things. Yeah. You get to do Water Spout twice, pretty much. That's what I was trying to get to. I don't know why I struggled so hard with that, but Oranguru would let you use Water Spout twice, pretty much, and that means that you could take out 2 things in one go and take out 2 things on the next go if they're susceptible to Water Spout, or they're weak in general. And if you think about it, with Trick Room letting Mega Blastoise go first, or just Blastoise go first, it will strike the next turn because it's a pretty slow Pokemon as well, and that's more of a. Everything seems to be more akin to bringing in new aspects of double battling, stuff in singles battles as well, and
so it seems to be the thing they're pushing for this.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a variety
the dynamic
of
battling and stuff like that.
Even the fact that there's not so much gym leaders now, they're called trial captains, and there's various different. Yeah, I know. There's various different
Captain Trial.
Various different things that you have to do instead of just gym battles. And you know what? I think that's interesting. They might as well do something like that. Everyone's used to this.
Like mini games or something. What's
something like that, yeah. And then you always have to have a battle at some point, but it's more of an adventure you take, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
And we don't know if there's going to be an Elite Four. No.
Yeah.
No Elite Four! What is this?
A lot of people. There's a leak. I don't know if it's that Chinese leak or the
Koro.
I don't know what it was, but they're hinting that when you've gone through all the trial captains, you might be able to put together your own league, like your own Elite Four out of things.
So they're finally breaking up the sort of very similar kind of strategy to the game.
And I think that's clever. They started it with X and Y because let's be honest, people will be like, I want to see an evolution of this thing, and instead of doing a permanent one, I don't know who these people are that speak like that, but they speak like that, right? And I hate them, whoever they are. But instead of giving them like probably you, but gayer than that, if it was you, Josh.
Yeah.
But CJ's about to hijack the podcast. But instead of giving you like just a plain evolution, the Alola forms and Mega Evolutions are examples of revamping old things and not wrecking them by giving them evolutions to watch something fade into obscurity. It means like Mawile, whilst normal Mawile came into the battle and you're like, right, I'm suspecting Mega Mawile's coming. So as silly as it seems, one little thing turning into another thing right there in the battle, that's a different concept, and that's quite interesting. Although the forms, you could potentially on a team, or not so much a team, but you could have a strategy for normal Ninetales and then a strategy for Alolan Ninetales, and it means that you can still use, if you're a fan of Ninetales, you can still use many variants of it, because you see it all the time. There's been fan art of people saying, what would happen if a Chikorita bred with like, this grass type and it came out like that? That would be interesting. Or people thinking it wouldn't it be good for Lapras to be fire and water and have a volcano out of the back of it instead of the kind of spikes it has. So I think
switching it on its head, rather than
I'm not on a low form yet.
a Lapras with a volcano on its back.
Yeah, I mean it would have been interesting.
It would also fit in with a sort of island theme.
Mm-hmm. But then again, they'll probably not. Like how you've so many top 10 YouTube videos of people going, they want to see these top 10
top 10
megas.
I want to see megas,
and I think that Game Freak are going to continuously surprise us with, well, we're going to have an evolution, but it's going to be different. And I'm expecting soon, maybe in future generations, they might bring out fusions. They might bring out another aspect where,
like a Pokemon Megazord that just
something like that.
Your team turns into one.
If you happen to have this and this on the team for an amount of time, you can actually fuse them together.
A tag team move or something.
Well, they did that they did that with like Kuriam and Reshiram and Zekrom, where you could fuse them together. So I think if you mixed like the power of Gyarados and you could choose like, I don't know, like you could choose the flying type from Gyarados, don't know why you would, just choose water, and chose the fighting type from, I don't know, say Medicham, and then you could see what would happen out of that. I mean, I would probably only have specific pairings that could happen.
Like maybe egg groups or...
maybe there'd be specific pairings you could do, but they could fuse together and you could use them along with a Mega or something like that, but then that fusion would have its disadvantages, compound weaknesses. Who knows what they're going to do? No one expected Alola forms.
But then that's going to be so much more new spikes we're going to have to add in. Like,
lots of spikes.
That's the thing.
Everything needs spikes.
Oh, I thought you said sprites.
I did say sprites.
Oh, I thought you said spikes because when things mega evolve, it's just spikes.
That's the thing, though. The thing about
new arms and legs, spikes.
The thing about sprites, though, is that now that they've moved away from sprites to now 3D models in the games, you know, they can make them a lot faster. They can make them a lot like. That's one reason why you know, the fighting game community, fighting games have seen more DLC characters and stuff, is because games like Street Fighter and King of Fighters and Guilty Gear have all shifted away from the sprites, because sprite, like, you're not going to have as many animation sprites in a Pokemon game, obviously, because like, I think the most you ever saw was maybe special Pokemon that maybe moved with their mouth when they came out, but you know, now that you've got 3D models, not only is it, you know, that you can, you know, you don't have to draw a new sprite for everything, now you can just modify it a bit. So like, you can change it, just change the skin on it, you know, like you're saying with the Chikoritas and the different breedings, you know, that could be a cool concept, you know. Yeah. Like factor into that, maybe even you know, generalize it a bit more, like, you know, maybe not so much as this Pokemon, but have it, you know, maybe, you know, sometimes you'll get pairings of like, you know, grass poison and stuff. You know, what if it takes like one type from the parent, you know, it keeps grass and it takes the other type from the parent that it might have. So you're not, you know, it's not as wild as saying, yeah, I just bred a grass fire because why not? But you know, you're now not just you're now, you know, limited to what other types grass can be, but you can still have that sort of thing in it, like, you know, like maybe there's a flying grass, you know, Chikorita with wings.
Oh, that would be interesting. You see, like, as well, the other thing is that if Game Freak just keep bringing out all these little monsters over the next decade, there's going to end up being so much in the game that things are going to become completely obscure, and it's just going to fill these games full of information if they revamp it and spend several time adding key things into the game. Like, for example, when the Unova games were announced, I found it very hard to kind of understand how things might have been used when I was seeing like a lot of things being introduced. And now you'll see Jellicent in standard play a lot of time, and you could probably pair a Jellicent along with a I'm saying Xploud because Kaz is here, and Xploud seems to be his go-to guy. There he is using Boomburst there, but he doesn't have the scrappy ability, so any ghosts would have not been affected. But he can have the scrappy ability, though, his hidden ability. But my point is that these things were important because now people can use like Hydreigon. There was not really that great a counter to it except a fighting type, and now fairies came out to balance everything out. So I don't think if like say 100 and something had been introduced for Sun and Moon, you'd kind of be filling a game full of things, and it's maybe good that, like what they did with X and Y, they brought out a little group and focused on making them all well designed, and they've kind of slightly done that with what's coming out for Sun and Moon. But with Sun and Moon, if it had been like 150 or something, it'd be hard. You'd take maybe 3 years until the next generation came out just to come to terms with all these things, and then another 150 would come out, and you just find yourself thinking, the game is now full of these little monsters. Is there enough space for them in this fictional world where they exist? So I think it's good that they gradually are bringing them out. Now I'm sure Robert would want to move on to the next bit if he was here. So we could be quite brief with this, but Connor Gillis asks what our favourite Pokemon are and what are our favourite games. I will always love the Johto games. I know that's kind of hip and cool to say that, but I love the Kanto games. But when the games came out in Johto, Gold and Silver, as well as when Heart Gold and Soul Silver were out, I loved those games. Probably more Heart Gold and Soul Silver, not just because of the nostalgia, but mainly because I really, really enjoyed the story. And it wasn't even the going back to Kanto thing, it was just, you were used to Kanto, you'd seen the anime, you'd had people talk about it, there was loads of internet memes about the Viridian City Gym being closed. But then Johto came out and it showed you that this world was much bigger than you thought. It was set up quite well, and in the second, the kind of the rebirth, the remakes, the rebuff, in the remakes, you had the Pokeathlon, which was the best thing ever. You could have all your Pokemon play football. I'd have my Rhyperior in goals, Hitmonlead and all the kicking and stuff like that. And then I had like my Farfetch did all the jumping. I had Rotom Fan and Kricketune. They were my sports team, you know. And I loved that because some things you get in the game, you maybe get an attachment to, and they maybe got a nature that's kind of crap, and you want to use them in battle, but you can't. But then you've got contest. Contest is quite cool, but then they're easy ones, you know how. But something that needed real skill was the Pokeathlon, and sometimes your team were well designed for jumping or well designed for the skill part of it, and not for others. So I did a proper like Olympics team for them, and that was a game in itself. Why that hasn't come back, I've no idea. It was so much fun, and if you could win it for like,
it's kind of like the contest thing.
Yeah.
They brought back in the contest thing for X and Y, but that was a load of nonsense, wasn't it?
You could win like, and I liked the Movie Star Studio thing, like Pokestar Studios for the Unova games as well. But now that we were looking at that's why Johto was my favourite game out of all of them. Because
and Pokemon?
Yeah. Well, favourite
Pokemon?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
You've got to pick one, mate. One
out of all the ones I've used recently.
Yeah.
Okay, how about I say Choice Banded Electabuzz? No one expects it because they all think it's going to be running special. It might be, it might be Choice Specs, it might be Life Orb, and then someone will go, all right, I'm going to bring in Garchomp, and I just go, aha, Ice Punch, bye. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, I'm expecting an Ice Punch, I'll switch out. And they go, I'm switching out as well, guess what's coming in next? And they'll go, here's my Charizard, why, you'll never stop that. And they'll go, but before it Mega evolves, I'm faster than you, Thunder Punch, bye. So okay.
So
right now,
it's Electabuzz.
Because right now Electabuzz is always up to party. So
they're changing in the next hour.
Possibly.
It usually does.
Right, CJ, what about you? What's your favourite game in Pokemon?
Favourite game? For the longest time, it was always just Gen 1 because it was the one I started with. But I like Black and White because to start with in the game, you were locked out from all the old Pokemon. Like usually when I go into a Pokemon game, I'll try and find stuff that I'm more like stuff that I like playing with to see how they've changed and stuff. But Black and White were like, nah, son, you got to play the game. Like the things that were a bit weak in Black and White, where like you could go through Black and White and you could go, well, that's just this game's version of Rattata. Well, that's just this game's version of Pidgey and stuff like that. But then you get that in every game anyway. But I just like the full fact that you were locked out from the original Pokédex for like the entire until you beat the Elite Four anyway. So it was different, and you were forced to try different things and see what else was new. But then as soon as got past the Elite Four, all those Pokemon went, apart from maybe Empoleon because it's a beast. I'd say favourite Pokemon, Swampert. Like for the longest time, it was Blastoise because again, Gen 1 and stuff. But when they added a water ground type, I'm like, this is different. Obviously, I come up against a grass Pokemon and I get absolutely hammered. But when you hit that electric gym and you're chucking out a water Pokemon and you're like, what you gotta do? What are you gonna do? And they're like, oh, Thunder. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, it didn't work. It's just so much fun. And also his Mega Form, who's just absolutely massive. And it's just like, I'm gonna kill things with a big, massive axolotl arms. Because it starts off as a little axolotl, the cutest little fucking water creature I've ever seen in my life. Just a little happy little fish thing. It's like, I'm gonna strangle things and they're gonna die. And they give it Ice Punch as well, because like you want to fuck over dragons.
Yeah, totally.
Ice Punch is great.
Yeah.
Anything that runs out.
Yeah. Because I remember
including a Choice Banded Electabuzz.
That was like the groundbreaking tech when I played Pokemon at school. Was everyone, for some reason, everyone at my school was like weird in the head and they never picked Charmander, which is what everyone picked as a child. And I was like, well, I'm gonna pick Squirtle. But everyone picked Venusaur, and then I'd always play battles and stuff, and I'd always get down in my Blastoise against everyone's Venusaur, and then I was like, what could I do to change this? So I taught Ice Beam. It
Yes.
was the greatest thing ever. I was like, 12-year-old me was now the Pokemon master of the school, because I was like, come on Venusaur, what you gotta do? What you gotta do? Ice Beam dead. Ice Beam dead. It's like, there was no weather effects, and it was always like, I had nothing to kill it in 2 turns to start with. So I was like, oh no, it's charging this light, but it's my only Pokemon left, so I can't switch it out. Oh no, there's Ice Beam. Yes. But Swampert is the best.
Oh, aye.
Quality. Who's next? Why then, man?
Josh,
I'm gonna say, well, I started with X and Y, so I just say X then.
that makes sense,
Yeah.
eh?
And then I'd say Klefki because it's just annoying and a good Pokemon to use.
Angry set of keys. Why not?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it fucks dragons up, which is always
I
good.
fixed dragons up. Yeah, great.
Hey, Josh,
Craig.
Craig,
I'd go with
we're all Josh.
Anything that can stealth rock. put
So
in.
Yeah.
Stealth Rock.
I'd go with X and Y as well, not secrets.
It's got wheels, man.
Send it
so-
halfway across the room.
I'd go X and Y 'cause it's the first game I got and actually played with other people, because before that I don't think I knew anybody else that played Pokemon.
You have no friends?
Yeah, basically. And first game I came here when it was probably the first game I bet under a week.
Mhm.
And my favourite Pokemon Steelix because it won Stealth Rocks.
Yeah!
Yeah,
Why am I not
that's in
surprised that Craig likes a big, hard snake? I guess Robert then Reese.
there. Yeah, aye. So my favourite game is probably, it's going to sound really weird, but probably Johto.
Yes,
like
the Johto camps
Gen
over
2.
here.
Just because it was like, I'd borrowed my mate's first one, so I'd played it like on someone else's, but it was the first one that I owned, and being able to go back to Kanto was absolutely mind blowing to me. It's like, this is insane. You've got both games in one cart all year, and it was just like, this is ridiculous. Like the music was good, and Gen 2 was kind of like not like where it peaked, but it was the first time that Pokemon was my own. Like I hadn't borrowed it from someone. This is where I could have my team and I could give them nicknames, which are all just their names because I'm shite at nicknames. But favourite Pokemon though, I mean, for the longest time it was probably Mewtwo because I'm a shite lord. But
That was a shitlord choice.
it is like Mewtwo is just, I love the design and I love the story behind him. It just sung to me as like a sci-fi fan. He was like a genetic fucking freak based on a mythical creature. I'm all aware of that.
Totally.
But like as it goes on, it's kind of, there's usually like favourites from the gens that stick to me. But yeah, Mewtwo is probably the one that I've always gone back to and went, nah, that's it. So even though he's not as good as he used to be because he's not completely broken, he's still there in my heart, and I should probably run him more, and I probably will. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Now Reese, who's miles away, so may not be picked up by the microphone.
Shout!
Well, I'll start with Generation
No
4.
Gen 4, good stuff.
With down the Pearl. Yeah, well, I picked Pearl and that is alright. I didn't really know what I was doing to begin with. Apart from I liked it when you went underground. And
Oh, that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
cool part
That
of
was
the
pretty
game
good.
too.
apart from when it comes to the flag grades.
Yeah, stuff like that
It's
was
fun
really
though,
good.
but
I think that was.
Black and White ended up killing it for me when Generation 5 came out.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I like Gen 4.
I hated the Pokemon League.
They
Oh,
were
it
pretty-
was
It
quite
just-
epic. I think like
That
it was
was
quite
the
solid.
other things that just killed me liking it because I didn't like the Pokemon.
Oh, I see.
It
what
wasn't
you mean.
really as good as it was with the previous generations.
Mhm.
But as soon as Generation 6 came out with X and Y, it totally changed it. That's when I got back into Pokemon and I started knowing what to do and figure out battle strategies,
Good call.
especially with the battle restaurants.
Mhm.
Oh, the
They're
restaurants are
pretty
a
fun.
good addition.
Yeah.
The Pokemon League was much better
Mhm.
in Generation 6. And there's a few different things as well. Plus, when you get the characters more lively.
Mhm. What was your favourite Pokemon then?
Favourite Pokemon, it's got to be Charizard with the Mega Stone Y.
Oh, Megastone's Charizard White.
Yeah, with the dry ability.
Oh, well, I
Big
tell you
fucking
what,
angry dragon,
I'm glad I picked Electabuzz because there's nothing better than going on a rated battle spot and somebody just setting up a Charizard Y in your face and you still outspeed it.
No,
You
see,
still outspeed
the
it and you
best
go,
one is
what would happen if a Thunder Punch happened? This would down in one, that's right.
The best thing involving Mega Charizard Y I've ever had is when Kaz ran.
Oh, it was me! I knew it was going to be me!
And he's like, "Oh, I'm in the sun, and here comes a solar beam." And my Rhyperior's sitting there like, "Oh, I've got an assault vest and solid rock. Hit me with it." And I thought I was going to die, to be fair, but I survived with like fucking a quarter of my health. And then I managed to Stone Edge him, and it didn't miss. I one hit KO, and I'm like, "Yeah!" He then beat me, but that was still the best one ever. Like,
Now,
yes.
speaking about Kaz, he's here.
That's
Beside
right.
Yeah.
me. So your favourite game and
My favourite game was with Diamond and or Pearl, purely because it was the first time I got into competitive Pokemon. Because that was the first time, as far as I'm aware, that you could actually go online and trade and stuff like that, like properly. And I used to be part of like the Maryland forum back in the day, which was brilliant because you used to be able to put up like trade posts, and in your signature you would have all your shit that you wanted to trade, and then you would trade it with people on forums and stuff, and it was really, really good because you had to trade like friends codes, and you had to do all that. I remember that, so it's kind of nostalgic for me, and I really liked the Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl as well, and it was the first game that I'd picked up since the Gen 1 really. I seemed to skip a whole load of them. Like I haven't played ORAS. The last games I played were X and Y, and then I skipped, and I'm now probably going to get the new one.
Oh no, you definitely need to get something.
It's on the wish list, as it were. But yeah, definitely Diamond and Pearl, just from a competitive kind of gaming perspective, because that was the game that taught me about EVs and IVs and blah 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 blah. So that's pretty cool. And my favourite Pokemon is Granbull, because what's better than an angry pink bulldog with tusks that learns all the punches and the fangs?
yeah, and he's got a rest talking Granbull as well.
I do have a rest talking Granbull, which is brilliant. Sleepy dog. He's
But
pretty
I remember you told me you took it on Battle Spot and people just didn't know what to do, and I think that
yeah, it was you that helped me build that one, and I took it on Battle Spot, and folk were just like, no, I don't know what to do.
it says a lot about how people battle though, because as much as we may think that sets I make are pretentious and ridiculous, I do it because I've sat through battles where somebody has been battling me in a way where I think, well, I've watched people do this online, I've watched YouTube videos with people battling, and I'm suspecting that this person's going to do a thing. Oh, they've done the thing. Oh, look, I've won. And then there'll be other times where I'll get completely wrecked by something. I think, right, that has moved up into the meta now. That's something people are using. I'll have to think of a way of countering that, and that's exactly why my VGC team did reasonably quite well. And it doesn't make me the best battler ever, but it means that my style of battling, along with, interestingly enough, the way Sun and Moon are, how they're kind of giving you hints on new techniques to battling and things like that. It'll be very interesting to see people just go for standard things, easy peasy, let's see if we get away with it. But I bet you there'll be new techniques. I mean, for example, it was Vic Reeves, Craig's his real name, but he looks like Vic Reeves, who said in
You're
the...
going to have to refer folk by their real names. So
Okay, Craig,
all come down.
but you do look like Vic Reeves if you're listening, and if you're not listening, then you still look like Vic Reeves. So he was talking about double strategies, and I think there'll be a whole new slew of strategies when this game comes out, just as there were for X and Y, but stuff began to become standard, and I think it began to really, like Chalk was the thing we talked about in 2015. That just seemed like an incredible waste of time. Everybody just had the same Pokemon at Worlds, that was it. Variety is really good because you might have something that's weak, or that's deemed as weak, but when the shock value of using it is a lot better. It's like how shocked people get when somebody uses a special Slurper, for example, or a defensive Azumarill, which it can be. So they are. I was just going to say we've got two other things to talk about there. But
just quickly on your note on chalk teams, there. One of the things I found most interesting following competitive in Pokemon is that people will grind at things so much. Like the metas kind of help forming fairly quickly, and they tend to solidify. So what you'll find is Nintendo or Pokemon Game Freak, will then try to break that with new additions and abilities. And the Gen 7 has got a lot of things that shut down a lot of the old meta and are introducing new ones. So it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of reapply and see what kind of cream of the crop comes through to that one.
Yeah,
particularly since you're not going to have access to things that I found they're kind of, as soon as bank opens up, then everybody starts falling back on their own. Like you go back to using the genies again, and you start going back to sort of older ones that are tried and tested, and they work because they work. But I mean, when you look at like you say VGC 2015 and even 2016, the majority of teams were Pokemon from older generations that have been tested and going through, and I don't think the new stuff got as much of a test on it. But again, it's like the market. It's like everything's determined by what people are running, and then you can get away with running something to beat that meta for a while until enough people pick it up, and then it becomes the new meta. So
it's always evolving and changing. So anyone
talking about chalk, and I don't know what year it was, but the Passerichu and Worlds winner.
Oh, that was 2014. But there's a good example of it. Anyone who thinks that that Pokemon's stale is wrong, because it's always going to keep changing. It's probably a clever formula that's just going to keep adapting, and that's why the
I think people that say that though are looking at the base game, you know, not being like, I mean, for me the game starts when you complete it. You know, and when you complete it, you know, you're unlocking the access to the actual game. And I think what you were saying earlier about Sun and Moon is they're actually introducing elements to make that a little bit more exciting for people that maybe like myself who skip massive chunks of Pokemon simply because I don't want to go through the whole process, you know, again. And you know, they're making the incentive to actually play through the main story a little bit more, you know, more of an incentive.
I think that's true.
You know, rather than kind of reskinning Team Rocket and then you know,
and
renaming the main character and just going on you go.
I think that's what Sun and Moon's tried to do by saying, by the way, everything's ever so slightly different. I guess they've had 6 generations of you getting used to this formula, and they've changed it slightly. And a lot of people that say, oh, they're not sure about it, but I think everyone is excited because it's almost like being a part of something bigger, something that's bigger than the normal game. Because I think even old fans who've only ever played like first gen will pick up this new game because it's very obviously tropical region, different story, and I think it's going to get a lot more people back into it.
You know what I was just thinking there is that it reminds me more of Colosseum.
Yeah.
And that how like Colosseum kind of broke the mold in terms of how the story was told.
Yeah.
And it thought it was a better Pokemon game because it wasn't. Well, it still did kind of rehash stuff, but it was more original. Like you were doubles all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that off the bat was ridiculous, and then quickly you're like, no, this is amazing. And you get into that one, and story was different. You weren't just collecting badges. There was a lot more thought into the story part of it.
Yeah.
And then to kind of get with through there. But whereas with Oras, I mean, like. That was like a way back to doing almost Gen 3 stuff.
Yeah.
But then it brought in the episode at the end of it. So you kind of got rewarded for doing the same thing you'd done, like, you know, like a decade ago with this new story
I think
part.
what they did was whet the appetites for more of an adventure post-game, but not only that, just more adventure in the game. You did have great adventures, but you could kind of see where you were going to end up, where you were going.
Aye.
Now everything's different, and it'll probably rekindle that for a lot of people. Now, just so that I'm not talking forever, it was Mr. Andrew Syme who has asked when it's a good time to use a normal type. It's always a good time to use a normal type.
There's no bad. The only typing that I would say bad for a Pokemon probably be Ice, and that's only because it gets hit by so much common attacks.
Now, but ice is incredibly offensive, and if you've got an Ice type Pokemon that's either able to take a hit or that's fast and is able to dish out Ice type, same type attack bonus, then you're laughing because they're usually really quite good, like Mega Glalie, or like
Weavile,
or Weavile, or CJ, you're Weavile, and then just like that, CJ there. And I think that's why normal types have got one weakness, and that's the fighting. And see, something like Licky Licky can be an incredible special wall if you've EV'd it right. And so many people try, I think, to get more out of normal types, but like, for example, I've got, on the team I'm running just now, I've got an Ursaring that does Rest Talk, Bulk Up and Facade, and even when it's sleeping, Facade still hits for a lot of damage. Now, there'll be some Smogon players or some other internet people going, I would never run an Ursaring like that. And I'll be, well, fine, you don't have to. It works for me because the rest of the team is built round it and positions people to getting stuck face to face with a bear that keeps waking up and being angry and going back to sleep again, and waking up and smacking you, going back to sleep. Because if I was to run it normally, how everyone else would run it, I'd be bored out of my tiny little boobs.
Was that facade? You know, the facade one where you is that the one where you just
it doubles in,
yeah.
And because Guts raises it's got Guts, so when Guts raises its attack power, when it's status, as well as the fact that it's got Rest, so I can get rid of anything that's making me lose my health. But if I land in Toxic Spikes and what's sitting across from me is like a that thing called Tentacruel, I can smack that. It's not got great physical defense. Goodbye Tentacruel. Something else comes in to wall me, I'll rest and keep seeing how many bulk ups I can get away with through the sleep talk mechanic, and eventually I'll be leather in a lot of things. And even when I go down, they've had to switch their team through Stealth Rocks. Yes, Craig, I'll put Stealth Rocks on the field. And because I'll usually send out that shiny Arcanine first, it's probably Will-O-Wisp something, so everything's getting worn down, meaning that Ursaring has an easier job. That's a normal type being a beast, as well as like Eviolite, Lickitung is a really good bulky thing. Normal types are really reliable, they're really bulky, and they've got neutral damage.
I like Assault Vest Furfrou with Charge Beam.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the one you
I really like it, you know, because you give him charge beam and you give him a bunch of other special attack and stuff, and then you charge up your special attack with charge beam, and then just sweep the shit out of things while tanking loads of damage with assault vest. He's pretty stonking.
If you've got a team and you're wondering where resistances and like effectiveness comes in, look at what you've got, and if you've got a limited like kind of fighting weakness, then put a normal type on the team, because if you've got one ice type that fighting types could take out, but then you've got a flying type and you've got a psychic type, fire a normal type in there. And if you're really worried about something to tank hits, find a bulky normal type, because
milk tank.
Tank, very reliable.
Don't you laugh at milk tank?
It can set up stealth rock, you little prick.
It can.
What? I like it then.
There you are then. But something like people will be like, oh, just use Chansey. No, don't just use Chansey. You can use many other things. But
you can use Chansey if you're a massive buffy. That's what you can do.
Entirely. if you're a known rapist, you know, and clearly
Chansey's for people in the sex offenders.
Yeah, if you had to go let people know when you move near a school, then
you use a Chansey.
Yeah, use a Chansey or an Eviolite. What's the other one?
The other
the other thing.
You can use an Eviolite Lickitung.
Yeah.
Right, so this is this podcast's going on a fair bit, so
yeah.
I think we're going to skip the last part of Andrew's question, because you've technically answered that already.
I've gone over that already.
And we've gone over the progressions, like in terms of the island. There's still, what's it? Do you think they have made the story and progression to endgame shorter, or do you think there's a lot we still don't know about in terms of islands to visit, etc.? I think a lot of us who are looking at this game are quite enthralled by what might be on its way.
While they might have shortened the main game, they may have extended the end game, in which case it matters not how short the story is, because, you know, like I say earlier on, you know, the end game is the game for me anyway. I don't know about an awful lot of people, but the story is like a nice bonus.
Yeah.
It's like a single player campaign on a multiplayer shooter.
It's there to introduce you to new mechanics, meet
and
some of the lore, and then
it looks like there's so much to do, and I really hope that there is, because if there is loads to do, then loads of people are going to be coming up with different teams at the end of this Alola adventure.
I think they might bring in a new region. Well, they're bringing in a new region, but they might bring back a old region.
Oh, maybe.
Just
could be an idea.
Just for the players that don't want to move on to Trelled or whatever they're called, and so they can. So when they beat that, they could go and play like an older game and have the experience of fighting gyms and.
We're still up in the air on what's going to come for single
we're not
player,
sure.
So
although,
Lord knows what's
to finish off, just because Craig had asked us, and I think we'll just throw it out there very quickly before we end. He was asking about. He's obviously building a doubles team. He was talking about interesting doubles strategies. Now, I'm not going to talk for ages on them at all, but very simply, my 3 favourite doubles strategies that I was using within the VGC, I had Jinx and Kyogre, because Jinx has dry skin, and I was able to set up the rain. Jinx could heal. If I used Surf, Jinx was also able to heal. But then Jinx and Meowstic would switch out and in, so occasionally it was a different lineup. But that was really simple. Fake out the faster thing, water spout everything. That was pretty much easy. The other thing was having
Spindra and Granbull.
Oh yes, Spindra and
Granbull with skill swap and
skill swapping. Skill swapping is good, but you want a Cresselia because you just need 100 different options. Because Cresselia, like, for a build of Pokemon, on average you usually get about 3 or 4 builds. Cresselia legit has about 20 different viable builds, so it's really worth getting your hands on a Cresselia if you want to do skill swap or any kind of utility support in doubles. I mean, it's just there's nothing, it outclasses everything else.
I think the other thing was Eviolite Clefairy with Friend Guard using Cosmic Power, and then Registeel beside it to paralyse everything across from me, and then use Psych Up to take all of Clefairy's evasion boosts as well as defense boosts as well, making Registeel very hard to get rid of, and that was a brilliant open for me because what I had in the back was incredibly frail, and I always thought that if we buff up these two, it takes the other team so long to take them out that when they finally do, it's easier for the sweepers in the back to take care of it. And the final one is my favourite one ever, with Hawk Hogan Jr., which is a brilliant name for a Halucha. It's the son of Hawk Hogan, who was an Oras. It was have Thunderous do all the paralysing shenanigans. Now it is running Swagger and Thunder, but not to the extent where I'll do them at the same time. More on the level where I need to have the team slowed down so that when my Sneasel had faked out or done whatever, knockoff or whatever, could switch out and bring in Hawlucha. Hawlucha could be swaggered. Hawlucha's holding a Lumberry, the swagger is cured, but now Unburden kicks in the next turn. With Unburden kicking in the next turn, Acrobatics has already gone up to full power, but on top of that, it's already had a Swords Dance boost out of swagger, so Hawlucha's ready to sweep the team in 2 turns, which I think is quite good. Yeah. And that one's done really well for me because Thunderous is there to stop any faster threats coming in, and Hawlucha's got good coverage with flying and fighting, so those 3 strategies have worked really well.
Excellent.
You're missing the best strategy, Golem and Steelix, so they can set up Stealth Rocks in the same turn.
Oh yes!
2 Stealth Rocks in the same turn.
Two ground types really, as well.
No one ever expects it.
I know. Yeah. So just, I think the only other thing I've done is with I mean, this is similar to Kazi's thing where he had a Mega Charizard Y and Typhlosion and just hit everything really hard. One with Heatwave, one with Eruption, and just do that constantly. I had a different version of that, which was Aurorus and Rotom Frost, and that was just Blizzard. Blizzard until they go away. Blizzard, Blizzard, and then when they go down, bring out Glaceon and Blizzard. Just Blizzard.
Right, well, thank you very much. If you've made it this far, you're obviously soon or one of our parents. So we're so happy for you, recording that wee podcast thingy for your parents. So yes, if everybody wants to say goodbye, I can finally wrap this up and go get food because I'm starving.
We're doing it all at the same time.
No, you just say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye.
Bye, remember Stealth Rocks.
Reece, you want to use your words?
Bye.
That was so difficult. And that's goodbye from me and you.
And I am the very good Mr. Ewan G. Mackey, and I am saying goodbye as currently Kirkcaldy's resident Pokemon Master. Don't you forget it!
I'm going to smash you in Gen 7, man.
Probably.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Later.